Hey, geniuses. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been ghosted? I'm not going to lie. We have been ghosted all the time. Like it happens. It happens usually after we quote our prices, but it's fine because that's just something that we have to work on our end. Like we have to do a better job of reaching qualified leads. And we're working on that. We have things in process for tweaking. I was going to say tweaking and twerking, but we're not twerking sometimes, but no, we're not twerking, but we're tweaking some things, right? So that we can communicate our message and draw in the people who are ready to work with us, and being ready to work with us means being able to pay our prices. Anywho, today's episode is not about conversations that ended when we communicated our fees or other boundaries. It's not even about how to attract better leads. Today, we're discussing the phenomenon that are phantom trademarks. What are phantom trademarks? Keep listening to find out what they are, why they're so darn tricky, and how you could possibly get yours registered. Welcome back to the Own Your Genius podcast, where we discuss building businesses, growing brands, and what else? Owning your genius. I'm your host, Attorney LaKanya Murray, owner of Off the Mark IP Solutions. Off the Mark is a boutique intellectual property firm representing innovative entrepreneurs, aka geniuses, who are looking to protect their brand and grow their business with ongoing legal support and business mentorship. We have a good one for you today, so let's get started. Welcome to episode 116 of the Own Your Genius podcast, where we're talking all about being ghosted. Wait, not ghosted as in ghost, but phantom, phantom trademarks. So let's talk about what they are. Have you ever seen those websites or maybe marketing that has a word or a phrase that's constant, but then what either comes before it or after, it changes depending on the use? For example, there's a mattress company that has several locations, and one of them may be 334 mattress, another one may be 205 mattress, and the third one may be 404 mattress, whatever, etc. And that variable in this case is the area code. So 334 is Montgomery area code, 205 Birmingham, 404 Atlanta. That's what I'm talking about when I say you have an element of the trademark that changes. And I get it. The business owner was in an effort to protect their brand, like in a really an efficient manner. They chose to register, mattress. Well, the dots indicate the matter that's subject to change. And so you're like, oh, wait a minute, snap. I can do that. I see your wheels turning and I see you thinking that, hey, this is sweet, but I want you to beware. Applications like these, the ones that have that variable element that changes, that can be very difficult to register, especially if that variable part has too many potential variations. Now, if this happens, it makes it difficult, if not really impossible, for the examining attorney to do their job, which is to look for conflicting trademarks. That's their job. If you think about it, trademarks protect brand identifiers. That protection is limited to the marks that are same or similar to other trademarks in that same or related field. If a significant part of that trademark is allowed to change with restrictions, or even if it has restriction, like the combination of possible variations is so many that the examining attorney, or even other brands for that matter, like we wouldn't know what likelihood of confusion exists because there's so many changes that it essentially can create a new mark or new meaning or leave a different commercial impression on consumers. So how would that work? Like, how would you be able to get a trademark for that? And the answer is you wouldn't. So what is a phantom trademark? A phantom trademark is one where there's a significant element of a trademark and it's subject to change, and it has so many potential variations that different configurations could create several different commercial impressions. That's it. So it's not the fact that you have that variable. The fact that you have that element that's a variable doesn't make it a phantom trademark. It's the fact that it has so many potential variations that it can create different marks. So if we go back to our original example, the mattress example, that trademark was allowed to register because when they filed the application, they said that it was the variable was limited by area codes, a set number. Like those numbers are set. There are only so many area codes, and those are created by somebody else. So they were like, okay, you can register because at least we know what to search for. On the other hand, there was a company that wanted to register something like SP dot dot dot, and they also wanted to register NP dot dot dot, and it was for some type of sealant. And in this case, the dots represented a variation of 3 numbers. And I know you're like, okay, sweet, we just did that area code to 3 numbers. Here's another company that wants to do 3 numbers, so it shouldn't be a problem, right? Wrong. Because in this case, the application was rejected because, unlike the area codes, the numbers weren't limited in any way. So now they're just saying that you have these SP or NP followed by 3 numbers. Any combination of those numbers. It was not limited, which means there were thousands of potential combinations. Thousands. So we can see why that will be very difficult for an examining attorney or even another business owner to be like, hey, are we conflicting with this mark? We don't know. And so if you're thinking about using something like, where you have a significant element that changes, I just want you to be mindful that on top of case law, that is very conflicting. And that case law is where lawyers and examining attorneys and judges, that's what we go back to see, hey, is this something that we can do? Has anyone done it before? And why were they able to do it? So you have one court saying one thing, you have another court saying another thing. That's where the conflict comes in. But in addition to that, you also have to be mindful of the examining attorneys who are looking at your applications with these variable elements, because they look at it with more scrutiny, which could cause your application to be rejected. And if it's rejected, that first rejection is not necessarily, hey, okay, we tried and we didn't succeed. It's more of a, okay, this is why we don't believe you should get this is why your application should not be registered. And then it's up to you or your attorney to put forth an argument which will persuade the examining attorney to change their mind. And if that doesn't work, at the end of the day, you can always file an appeal. But like I said, it's more effort. It's going to take additional effort to get it registered if you're even able to get it registered. And that, geniuses, is what a phantom trademark is. So knowing what you know now, how likely are you to use trademarks with a variable element? Let me know in the comments. And if you've already successfully registered your trademark with that element that changes, we want to know that too. Right? Let's take this conversation over to the MARKEDlegal community. I want you to share this episode with 3 people and have them meet you there. But you know what to do before you go. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and rate the podcast. Until next week, I want you to keep building your business, growing your brand, and owning your genius.